Let's talk about
So
Reza
what do you
Pahlavi.
think about it? So
Reza
what do you
Pahlavi.
think about it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you just want to talk about the
I'm
leader.
just going to go for
Okay.
Reza Pahlavi because there's so many things to talk about it.
Yeah.
This guy, Reza Pahlavi, he basically doesn't have anything to show for it from like by himself. He was a nobody and he is a nobody. His whole personality is that he is the son of Muhammad Reza Pahlavi.
His whole identity is that.
Yeah, whom these people are fantasizing about his like rule and his government and his country, which was so great.
They say that it was the most modern country in the Middle East, but
Exactly.
these filthy Muslim Islamist kind of
Exactly.
mullahs, they just
Like the
and
country
ayatollahs,
that
they just-
literally more than 50% of its population were illiterate. It's
Yeah.
a international like stat that country. Anyway, so all he has is like the sperm of the previous Shah. Okay, that's all he got.
That's how you put it. I don't know.
That's all he got.
But yeah.
And let's get into it. He lacks the charisma, like big time. Oh my God.
I'm thinking about the different instances.
Yeah. He called on people to come on the streets, like in January 8th and 9th. And like in his video, I think I mentioned this before. In his video, he was like, people should come to the streets on Friday and Thursday. Dude, you cannot even get that right. You're like sending a message to people to make a revolution. You cannot just say that in order. What's wrong with you?
Know your role.
Exactly. And he doesn't know how to like speak in English like properly, like
After 5 decades
after 5 decades of living in the US. And also he lacks the ability to talk in Farsi in like the perfect measure.
and the
manner.
thing is, as a leader, we're talking about a leader.
Oh yeah.
Revolution leader. He does not have the basic understanding of political definitions or political understanding at all.
Exactly.
I can talk about it. I mean, anyone.
And I'll
I can
get
argue.
to that. I'll get to
I
that.
could argue, yeah.
I'll get
So
to that.
he's basically a no one. I'm sorry, but I just used to say this to my friends. He's a stereotype of an uncle in the family. Sometimes you have this
Kinda,
kind of
yeah.
uncle that is just present.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, probably chill guy,
Yeah.
but he doesn't add any value to your life.
Exactly. After people were killed in the streets, like in big numbers, which shocked everybody, he went to this interview with this CBS, I think.
CBS
it was.
News, yeah.
And the interviewer asked him, was this a responsible thing to do? And first of all, he said that I didn't like send people to get killed. It was his first answer. And then he said that, yeah, it's a war and war has casualties. Dude, this is your moment. Take it. Make a freaking epic story out of it. Like, they were my sons and daughters that they could know. It's a war and war has casualties.
I'm sorry.
In that voice, in that
Even I'm not sorry.
senseless voice. And he cannot make like epic speeches. He cannot like bring enthusiasm out of people.
Yeah.
He does not have the charisma in like,
Never.
any way. And also, his second like unique feature is that he's so dividing. He's such a dividing personality. I mean, the Women Life Freedom movement, which was the second real movement after the revolution in Iran, the first one being the Green Movement, and the second one was the Women Life Freedom movement. It basically died when Reza Pahlavi
Because of
entered
Reza Pahlavi.
the scene.
While it was a successful movement overall,
Exactly,
I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, this is the time that, because, the movement that we're talking about, Women Life Freedom movement, it doesn't have a leader figure.
Yeah.
Or even 2-3 guys that you can
Yeah.
point out and say that they are the leaders of this movement. They don't have it. Reza Pahlavi was like, okay, I have this support in Iran, and I have this support around the world, probably. It's my moment. He entered the scene, and he started a campaign that was called Vekalat Midam. I give representation.
Yeah.
like to Iranians to go online and just
Sign the
click,
petition. Sign the petition. That yeah,
to
I
say that,
guarantee.
yeah, I grant you the right. You are my representative to create a in transitioning government
Yeah.
in Iran to like get rid out of this current regime and stuff like that. It first of all, it didn't get like more than 600,000
Who knows how
signings,
many of them were bots?
signatures. How many were bots? Just leave alone the bots. We don't know how many of them are Iranians. There's no
That was online.
there's no way
campaign.
of like
Yeah.
authentication. So, and then all these fights erupted because he published a plan for his like 5 year, like such a stereotypic move from a person that wants to be a dictator. They say that, okay, give the power to me for like 2 years, 5 years, and I'll make it into a democracy and give it back to you.
Yeah. Just
like,
just imagine.
no, I don't know. I don't want anything.
And the guy just
out
called
of you.
himself a crown prince. Anyway.
Exactly. His plan was a 5-year dictatorial rule, and he proposed it like in the middle of a democratic and leftist kind of and like feminist movement in
Yeah.
Iran. Okay, so that's his like.
And another
second-
important thing about him that we haven't talked about it yet is that he is a puppet. He's
I'll
just an
get- yeah.
Israeli puppet. I don't know if you're about to get it, but that's
Exactly.
also, I think that's a really
know,
important thing.
He wasn't. He wasn't anybody really. He wasn't a person of interest in like any meaning until 2023. After that fiasco with Women Life Freedom movement, when he started his campaign and the movement fell apart, everybody was fighting everybody. Everybody was shouting on like everybody on cameras, and it was like awful. He basically killed the movement. After that, he understood that no, I cannot like go ahead like this. I can't do this. So guess who he went to?
Netanyahu.
Israelis. He went to Tel Aviv. He went to Quds basically and met with Netanyahu, met with all these Israeli figures, and he presented himself as, I can be your guy. I don't have anybody and any
Absolutely.
networks
I'm the only one.
in Iran. I don't have anybody on the ground. So
Especially given the fact that, as we said, the MEK group
MEK.
is already just out of picture. Everyone knows it.
yeah.
So
And
they cannot just trust them
up
anymore.
until that moment, like up until 2020, 2021,
Yeah.
MEK was the favorite group for the United States government and the Israeli government and even the Saudi government.
Yeah.
They were funding them. But after that, they say that
They realize that it doesn't work.
it doesn't work. It's a dead end.
So let's go to back.
They use them still, but after the first Trump administration, they were just out of the picture. So he came in and he presented himself to the Israelis, and they picked him, and they started building a network by Mossad inside Iran, and they called it Garde Javidan. Yeah, which was like the National Guard of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, which was basically useless because the revolution happened. So they built up a network of riots and like terrorist nucleus in like different parts of country. So what we saw on the streets in January 8th, especially and 9th, it was those groups and those militias.
Yes.
Yeah.
That just went into the street. You know, I was just thinking about it. When the name of Reza Pahlavi comes, I think a very important question arises. Why Reza Pahlavi? In the eyes of Americans and Israelis, I just want to talk about it. This is my analysis. This is my idea. I'm thinking about it as if, okay, the Americans and Israelis are trying to, as we said, their first strategy is not regime change. Their first priority is state collapse of Iran.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially
They
the
don't
Israelis.
want simply just to change a government by another government and just try to be ally with the new government. It's not the case. They're trying to just destabilize the whole country because Iran is a big country. It's the 17th biggest country in the world we're talking about. And they want to make a state collapse out of it. They just want to destroy everything, literally. So they just want to disintegrate the whole. I mean, there are different separatist groups. Okay, this parts of the country just out of it. Okay, out of it, and just they want to turn the big Iran into different states, of course.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, in such a scenario, if they have this scenario in their mind, which I think they have,
They do.
the best thing is to have a very weak person in charge. And when you have a weak person in charge, it means that you can really easily just dictate what you want to him, and especially to the group. And that's, I think, basically why even we all know that he's a clown. Anyone knows he's a clown. I mean, I think, otherwise unless you're just really, really kind of a delusional person and just like some of these monarchists. But the common sense of Iranians know that he's a clown and he's not the proper person at all. But it's interesting to me that still Israelis are just betting on him all the time, right now especially. And I think that's one of the reasons, because they want a weak Iran. And to have a weak country, the best thing is to have a weak leader. And
Exactly.
a weak leader means a weak society. And
Exactly.
a weak society means that you can have just make the state collapse. That's also I think this is a really
Exactly.
important thing, yeah.
And Reza Pahlavi is just happy to rule a divided Iran. He's happy to rule a part of Iran, like Iranistan or Persia, you
Yeah,
should call it.
just-
He's happy to rule anywhere,
Yeah.
like it's a village. Give him a village.
But
He
dude,
is so happy.
let's be fair. Let's be fair. Just think about it, that you're a crown prince and you're about to be a prince. And after more than 2,000 years of this kind of tradition of having a monarchy in Iran, there is an old man named Sayyid Khomeini. He just comes and what? You're not in the game anymore. They just overthrow you and then you just have to just go to exile and just flee the country to United States. That's the psychology of this person, definitely.
Yeah.
Another person, if you have anything to add about Reza Pahlavi, because I just want to next.
There's just all these controversies about his wife.
Anyway, we'll just.
It's important.
It's important
in
but
Iranian society,
of course
even
it
in
is.
the opposition.
Yeah.
They are talking about it. The opposition. People who have problems with Reza Pahlavi are talking about him. Anyway.
I agree, but that's
Anyway.
they're liberal.
You cannot have a leader in Iran who has like these things talked about like behind his back. Anyway.
They are rats. Look, just a couple of days ago, he had made a speech in Munich. The whole, oh my God, the best speech ever. And even in Munich, Germany, we're talking about Germany, we're not talking about Iran. He was talking behind a bulletproof glass. Really? Such a courageous person wants to rule a country named Iran, that there are thousands and tons of conflicts just happening all at once in one day.
Like
You
3,000
really wanna
people
rule this
got
country.
killed because of you.
Yeah.
Get out of the bulletproof glass in Munich, for God's sake. Okay, and like I think I was watching it live. It was a missed opportunity. I think
It was.
he didn't say anything,
I wish he could
anything
use it.
particular. He didn't
You know,
use it in any way.
60% of his speech, he just talked in English.
Oh yeah, because
to quote unquote, just think about it for a minute. This is how stupid it is, the situation. He was trying to persuade the Westerners, Americans, Israelis to please invade my country,
Oh, yeah.
to free our country and just get me to power.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are that popular that you claim to be, you don't need any kind of foreign intervention so that you would be just as what happened in 1979. Okay, that's the thing. But yeah, this is my whole idea about Reza Pahlavi. If you have anything, because I just want to talk about the characteristics of the Iranian kind of opposition monarchies, especially because there's so many clips that people have seen, and I just want to talk about them. Iranian opposition monarchists, when we're talking about them, what are the characteristics that just differ them from other Iranians? The number one is that they're simply anti-Islam.
Oh yeah.
They are against any sign of Islam. And they are proud of it. So it's not like, for example, I want to label them. No, they're proud of it. that they want to eradicate, they say it literally, that they want to eradicate Islam explicitly from Iran. Because Islam, oh my God, we Iranians in our history, in our thousands of years of history, we don't need any kind of thing like Islam. Islam is kind of like a poison in our history and all these things.
They're kind of fascists.
They are not kind of, they are fascists. While
they relate Islam to like Arab
Dude,
population, and
we
then
are.
they are saying that, I mean, the official narrative of Pahlavi
exactly I'm talking about
government
it.
was that
okay.
we are Aryans and we are superior to Arabs.
Exactly. So they're fascists. That's
They
number
are.
2. Yeah. So they're anti-Islam. They just want to eradicate Islam. And basically that's the main reason that they are siding with Israel. They're siding with Israel. You know, they were the only kind of group in the whole world probably,
Oh yes.
rather than Hindus and these kind of groups, that supported Israel in doing the genocide that it did in Gaza. And still they claim that we want to free Iran from this kind of, oh my God, this kind of evil regime. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up to each other. So this is the very important thing. So first is that
they celebrated like the clips from.
Yes,
Gaza.
the Gaza children, just for example, being hungry.
Oh yeah, they celebrated.
People don't know it, but yeah,
in the comment
you could find
sections.
it. Yes.
And right now they have the audacity to come out and say that, where are all those people that advocated for the freedom of Palestine?
They say it.
Why don't you say anything about the freedom of Iran? Dude.
No, they just joke. Okay. The second thing is that they are fascist. And interesting thing about their fascism is that they're Iranians. I mean, after all, we're all Iranians. We're all in the Middle East. We have been living in this country for thousands of years. They have this kind of fetish of thinking that they are white.
Oh.
They think they're white. When you talk to them, really, when you hear them, when you just listen to what they're saying, they really feel that they're different from Arabs. With this accent, this is a gay accent, but yeah. I'm not an Arab. I'm a Persian. This is a really okay. So it just shows
Aryan.
Aryan.
And you know that they all root for like Nazis and Hitler, and they because he's Aryan, and they think that they are Aryan.
You know, they always say
God.
that history repeats itself. One is a tragedy, the second one is a comedy.
Oh yeah.
The tragedy is Hitler and all this kind of fascism, but the unfortunately the comedy part of it is just in Iran, which is this kind of monarchists. So this is the second thing. The third thing is that another fetish they have is that just Uncle Sam liberates us. Israelis liberate us. It's just when they talk about Iran history, they never have any kind of agency, it seems, to their ideology. It's like, I don't have any agency. I'm just looking for someone to just free me. When they talk about history, they say that, oh, we Iranians were great until this Islam just came. We Iranians were great until this Mughals just came and just destroyed everything, and we were just great until this just mullahs just came in. Mm-hmm. So they don't have any kind of agency, and one of the reasons that they don't feel in that way is that they are so much individualized. They are, individualism in these people are just at its peak. So basically, they don't have this kind of courage as a social phenomenon I'm talking about to sacrifice for the cause.
Yeah.
They don't sacrifice.
Yeah. They
do not.
They want to party and dance and stuff. They don't want to die.
Look, if you just look at their clips, they say, I want to liberate Iran. I want to have a liberated Iran so that I would be just naked dancing with my girlfriend, anyone just in the pool. This is their kind of ideas.
Yeah. And by the way, about the point you made about them always waiting for like Americans bringing them back into Iran, or like bring their monarchy back to Iran. The father of like Reza Pahlavi was installed again by the Americans in their coup against like Mossadegh democratic government in 1953.
And their grandfather was installed by the British.
By the British, kinda, yeah.
He was, yeah. So
and he was removed by the British, by the way.
So it's in their blood. I don't understand it.
And by the way, Reza Pahlavi claims in his he wrote a book. Supposedly, he was saying stuff, and his bitches were writing it down, and made a book.
Yeah.
and he claimed that, oh yeah, the British removed me from power, gave power to the mullahs, to the like clergy.
They really believe that, and it's really interesting to me.
All delusions.
So the whole combination of these characteristics generates this pathetic being, which is these kind of people, especially these kind of extremist people, especially in their leadership, because the level of delusion is just outrageous. And that's why you see that when the protests happen in Iran, all of a sudden you see hundreds of mosques and masjids are burned down.
Mm-hmm.
I've not known anyone like ordinary Iranian burning a masjid and burning Quran. I know so many people who are against this government in Iran. There are millions of them, of course, tens of millions of them. But how many, people have you seen that think about, okay, I just want to burn Quran, burn masjid? So this group is just kind of different in their kind of whole idea about the thing. And that makes sense. I'm sorry, but that just makes sense why they are siding with Israel, because we all know it that Israel kind of is among the few actors in this world who clearly and explicitly just goes and burns masjids, destroys these lives. They have this kind of mentality.
Just like you can see that, like for the previous 3 years, just the only people defending Israel in the comment sections were like the monarchists and the Indians.
The Hindus.
The Hindu Indians.
Some parts of Hinduism, especially. Yes.
They were so like everywhere. Like,
dude, even the Americans, many of the Americans did not support them. I'm not saying that they support the resistance, but at least they're like, okay, maybe genocide is not a good thing, but they're not advocating a genocide.
And that,
for God's sake,
that empathy with Israel comes from a hatred towards Islam.
And it's not just the Iranian government.
No.
It's basically Islam.
Exactly, both from the Hindu nationalists and the monarchists. Yeah.
So we are kind of dealing with such people. So that's the thing.
Exactly.
So it's so we're not just talking about ordinary kind of peaceful, normal protests in Iran. No. We're talking about the multi-layer kind of social movements just dealing with each other in the Iranian society. And the thing is, they're not the majority at all in Iranian society, but they have a really loud voice. Exactly. Of course, we all know why. And because the Americans
they know English. Many of them are Iranian diaspora. They lived outside the country, so they know the language. Yeah. They can talk into different media. People in Iran, I was just about to mention that the Iranian society is a religious society. It's not a
not necessarily practicing.
No.
But
it's not practicing.
They're kind of their mentality is kind of religious.
Yeah, they are religious, and they even like a huge majority of them, like 70% of them, participate in some of like the religious ceremonies.
Even if it's not Islamic.
Shia,
you're just talking about Shias,
about Ashura and Imam Hussein. They believe in all these stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they might not pray, or they might not, for example. But for example, but they at least go to some of these ceremonies. So once or twice.
In this kind of society, you have this minority that they're so loud and they're so anti-Islam,
they're so loud,
and they have a huge presence in all the media. And that's not.
We're living in a world of algorithms. We're living in the world of Elon Musk just changing the picture of Iranian flags all of a sudden. I think he just turned it back again. Lately.
About their population and popularity and stuff. There was all these like statistics that I prepared. Maybe some other time we'll talk about it.
We need to talk about it. Yeah.
Just about the monarchists and the Reza Pahlavi. There were all these different polls. Many of the pollsters that did the surveys, they were just not independent. You cannot trust them. But there was one done by an American university or something in 2022.
Okay.
And people's opinion about Reza Pahlavi and him being the next leader of the country was, it's shocking. It was 17% among people who believed in regime change. 17% in the people believing in the regime change,
so it's
which were not the majority.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, it's not the majority.
And even if it is a majority, 17% between
Yeah.
them. And
Oh,
his
yes,
popularity,
this guy is like a
this
majority. Yeah.
stats about like 2022. This is a different time. I get it, but the 12-day war. He sided with Israel. That was not a popular war. People didn't like that Israel was attacking us. He sided with Israel clearly, and people hated it. And his popularity
That's the
like
thing.
shrunk down
That's the
between
thing.
people. And we don't have like specific stats, but I just talking to one of my colleagues who
Yeah.
is working for a like institution that does surveys and stuff, and he said that in Iran, support for an external intervention, American intervention, to make a regime change in Iran, it's not higher than 15%. So I can just relate these two
Yeah.
stats
That
with
makes
each other.
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is what Reza Pahlavi is calling for, and this is the stats in Iran.
This is their savior.
So yeah, thank you all of the non-existent Orientalists.